Hello guys, how are you doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, I would like to show you how to track the activities driving a key milestone in your project. I'll show you 3 different ways to actually do this in Primavera P6. Let's dive into it. So I've got this simple project, okay, and I have this completion date, okay. So I have some series of activities leading to this completion date, okay. How do I find out those activities driving the completion date? Because if this completion date is being delayed, it means that some activities are contributing to this delay. How do I find out what those activities are in P6? Okay, number one, I will teach you from the simplest way to the most advanced way to actually track this out. So what I need to do, this first option is to copy the activity ID. Okay, copy this activity ID and go to your filter and go to your filter, create a new filter and name your filter activity ID. Okay, so you can say activity driving completion date. Okay, then change this to activity ID, yeah, is equals to the activity ID for our completion date. So that's what will be our reference point. So we want to know the activity driving this completion date. So just click on OK now and make sure this filter is selected, and that's the only filter that is selected. The way to double check is just go back to all activities, okay, and make sure nothing is selected, then select that activity and click on apply, and then you click on OK. Okay, and in this case now you see I've got the activity on my screen. That's the only activity that I have in here. Okay, how do I know? If you want to double check the activity you have in your program, just right click and go to columns here, and when you open column, just go to number of activities here, and you can say activity count and click on apply and click on OK. So it's telling me here I only have one activity in this filter, but I don't want to see all these WBS. So what do I do to exclude all these WBS? You go back to your group and sort, go to group and sort, and show and click on hide if empty. So click on the WBS and click on hide if empty. So if there's any WBS that is empty, I don't want to see it at all. Okay, so now I can now click on OK. So now you can now try to create the logic. You want to check the predecessors to this milestone. Okay, that's what we want to do now. So this is the predecessor, the immediate predecessor. Just click on go to, then go to see the next one, click on go to. As you can see now, your Gantt is developing, it's showing you the bars for the activities driving it. So click on next one, just click on continue clicking on next, just here. Okay, so before that, let me go to formwork installation here. So formwork installation here, you see that you have to drive two activities. Okay, 2 activities are driving this formwork installation, but one of them is a driving activity, which is this one. So since this one is driving activity, that's what I will click on go to. Okay, because this activity has got a float in the program. If you want, you can right click on here and go to customize, and you can go to your duration, and you can bring out your free float and total float just to see. Then you will see that some activities here has actually got a free float and total float. So what I will do again is just for me to see all the activities I'm doing, I'll just go back to group and sort. I will delete the WBS. Okay, so I will delete WBS. So delete, and I can actually add my project name in there, so at least I have something at the header, as the header. So click on OK now. So now let's check the predecessors. So this, then client inspection, then the contractor inspection, then formwork. So this formwork now, I have 2 activities. Okay, one of them is the driving activity. As you can see, this other one has got a total float of 122 hours, and this other one is on the critical part. So I'll select this one. So go to the next one. This is the driving activity. As you can see here, our Gantt is taking shape, so it's showing us the activity that's actually driving the key dates. Again, this is the key date, so it's showing us these are the critical activities to the key date. It doesn't mean that there's no other activity driving it. It means that these are the critical activities. Other activity has got float in them. Okay, so I'll just click continue. Just be careful, because you might get to a point whereby you have 2 activities, and like for example this one now. So I want to click on reinforcement because it's a critical activity. Go to the next one. Yeah, click on the next one, click on the next one, click on the next one, click on the next one again, click on the next one, curing, that's fine, pour, client inspection, contractor inspection, the formwork. So when you get to this formwork as well, you see reinforcements. So it's taking a shape. We are seeing the activity that's actually driving our completion dates. Okay, so this one I think this is the hardest way. I will show you this other simpler way to actually do it. Okay, well, let's continue. P3, inspection, formwork. When you get to formwork, there's always two activities. You just select the reinforcements, so you see now these are all the activities responsible for that milestone. So if any of these activities is delayed, then my milestone will be delayed as well. Okay, don't forget, the definition of your critical path is the longest part in your program or the shortest duration you can complete your project. Any delay or any activity on the critical path will delay your project end date. And your total float, so all this activity that we're checking now has a total float of 0, so which means if you delay this activity, your end date will be delayed because they are on the critical part. Don't forget your definition of your total float. Your total float is the duration of time you can delay an activity without delaying the project end date, which is different from free float. Yeah, so free float is the duration of time you can delay an activity without delaying the next activity. So free float, next activity; total float, project end date. All right, so let's continue. So just click just into, I mean, it's painstaking, it's painful to do, but you get the right answer in the end. So I'll just click on this activity. Let me just move my Gantt in here to see what I'm doing. As you can see now, this activity, this is the last activity in here because this is the completed activity. So this activity here is complete, so this is where the part stops, and this one is in progress. Yeah, the predecessor to this one is complete, so I don't need to go back to the completed activity. I just need to stop at my data date for the activities in progress. So what this is telling us is that if this activity pipeline I105, if it is delayed, then my project end date will be delayed, the contract completion will be delayed. Okay, or if any of this activity on this part is delayed, my project completion date will be delayed. So you can print this out and send it to your project team to say these are critical parts. Okay, this is the critical part to this milestone. So if you have different milestones in your program, you can do the same thing for each of those milestones. Just copy the milestone activity ID, filter it out, and start checking the predecessors to it. Okay, so that's, I know that's very difficult to do if you have thousands of activities. How do you get around it? Okay, so this will make your life easier. The second option now. So let's go to the second option. So for me to do the second option, let me just remove this filter. Just click on all of the following again, click on apply, then we can bring back our group and sort. Okay, let me just bring back the group and sort. So here I'll go to group and sort, I'll bring back my WBS. Okay, so WBS, so change this one to WBS. Okay, and click on apply. So I've got my WBS back. I can actually hide if empty. If there's any empty WBS in here, I don't want to see it. So let's just go back to hide if empty and click on apply and click on OK. So what you need to do here, the second option actually is for those people who have the latest version of Primavera PC, starting probably from version 21. You can actually do this. So click on the activity that you want to check the predecessors to. Click on the activity, then go to view, then click on this activity critical part. If you can't find it here, just make sure you click on this drop down. It will show you all the options you have available. So in this case now, I'll just click on activity critical part, and I'll come down here and select show backward activity critical part. So you want to see all the activities driving this milestone. Okay, the backward part. So just click on it here, and it will show you, within a twinkling of an eye, the activities responsible for that milestone. I know, yeah, you asked the question, why am I showing you this where the one we did earlier, because it's painstaking, but this one is very fast. Okay, so it's another option for you. It's a very quick and dirty way to find out the activity responsible for a particular milestone. So in this case now, as you can see, the last activity here is a completion date, the milestone date. So these are all the activities that we need to do before we do this activity. So any delay on any of this activity, we push our completion date to push it out. All right, so that's another way. And as you can see here, I can't see the WBS, so it's actually, you know, tricky. There's no heading. If you want to show an heading, just go back in here and go back to active critical part and say enable group and sort. Okay, so when you enable group and sort, it will show you the group and sort of all these activities, like WBS they are categorized under, so you can see that. And if you want to leave this this filter, all you just need to do is go back to your view, go to the active critical part, you know, uncheck this box again because it's highlighted, make sure it's not highlighted, then go back in there and click on this enable group and sort. Then we are back to where we were before. As you can see now, we now have all the activities in the program. Okay, so the third way, and I think the most reliable way, which is a bit advanced level, is what we're going to talk about now. So what you need to do again here for the third method is to go to the activity ID. You can copy it or copy it somewhere, or just know it. This is A2200. So when you get the activity ID, just go to your scheduling option, and when you get to the scheduling option, you know, go to options in here. Then when you get to the option, click on the advanced option, click on calculate multiple float path. Okay, then click on your free float, click on these three dots and paste your activity ID in there. So when you paste it in there, you know, to give you that particular activity ID that you are looking for. Okay, and if you want as well, you can actually click on this display and say filter by, or group and sort. You can say list, so it just lists out the activity ID. So just double click on it. Here it depends, you know, you can specify the number of critical parts to that milestone. As I said earlier on, you know, all the activities that are driving this milestone that we showed earlier on that are critical doesn't mean those are the only activities responsible for this milestone. Okay, there are some other non-critical activities, you know, responsible for it, or you can say near critical activity as well. So if those activities are delayed, your critical path will change. So just for you to note. So in this case now, just say, okay, I want to see just one path. Okay, if you want, you can see the two parts or three parts or four parts. So let's select two parts. So we have two parts selected. Just click on close here, and it asks you, just say yes, and then schedule your program. So when you schedule your program, it seems that nothing has happened. Okay, so don't panic, don't worry. All you just need to do, right click again to go to group and sort, or you can click on this icon at the top here. It's also your group and sort. So when you click on it and you get your group and sort, change this WBS level to float path. Okay, so change it to float path and click on apply, and now you would see that you have different float paths in here. Okay, you have the first float path, okay, which is this one. Then you have the second float path, and they have no float path because we only specify that we want to see two float paths. That's why we're having 1 and 2. If you specify for 3, it will show you the other the third float path as well. So it means the first one is actually the true critical part, and the second one is like the near critical activities. Okay, but then if I want to, you know, create a report, and I don't want to see all my float paths too, all you just need to do, create a filter again and name this filter float path. Okay, so I can name it float path, or just say FP, but you know what FP stands for anyway. So I'll just say this is float path. So now you say where float path is equal to 1. Okay, so that's what I want to see in the program. I want to see my number 1 float path. Okay, so now it will filter out anything that's not in the first float path. So if you scroll up now, this is the same thing that we achieved earlier on, you know, when we are doing the predecessors, and when we do the activity backward pass. So we're getting this is the third method, so we're getting the same value. But if you need to create a report and you don't want to see this one in there, you can actually right click and go to your group and sort it by, now that will filter out all the activities that are related to my float part. I can change this now to maybe project. Okay, so the project name. So if I click on that now, click on apply and click on project here. So that's another way to do it. So when you print this out now, it's showing the project that you're working on, and if you must change that heading as well, you can create a user-defined field and allocate all these activities under that user-defined field. Then you group and sort based on that user-defined field. So to show you maybe critical activities to a particular milestone. So there you have it, guys. You know, is there another way that you guys use, you know, to determine the critical activities to a particular Milestone in your program. Okay, if there's any other way that you use that I've not mentioned, please drop it in the comment section below. Let's learn from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your colleagues that might find this very interesting. So I will see you guys on the next one.